Monique had mentioned earlier about one of our partners. It's a software program that does many things for both you, the franchisor, and your franchisees. I'm not going to tell you what it's all about. I'm going to let Tyler and Angelica do that. Thank you very much.
Hey guys.
I'm going to go over here.
I know we've been here all day, or at least a lot of you have been since 8 a.m. So we're going to keep this pretty quick.
Hey, you got it.
Pretty quick, pretty short. We think we have a pretty cool technology that helps franchisors emerge, and it helps large franchises maintain their operations and their employees as well. So thanks for having us, Franchise Genesis. So I'm Tyler. I'm an account executive. In layman's terms, that means I do demos. Angelica is our head of customer success. That means she keeps everyone happy and makes sure they onboard and are happy with the platform.
Yes.
Franchise technology is often very segmented. You have a bunch of different technologies to do a lot of different things. We're here to streamline that and make it very intuitive and very user-friendly. That's really what our goal is. And just keep everyone in one place within the entire organization.
All right, so we're going to talk about some of our features. A lot of you guys are emerging. We work with a lot of customers who are in the emerging franchisor space. So how do you get your franchisees to understand your business and replicate that? So we're really focused on brand consistency. One of the features that we have is task management. So those daily opening, closing checklists, reoccurring things that need to happen. You as a franchisor can look at all your locations and make sure that they're doing what they need to do day in and day out. Your GMs, your management can manage their staff as well. So we have everything from franchisor to the franchisee to the ground level staff can all access the platform and have a bird's eye view of what's going on at the store. So this is a way of just streamlining those operations. We have reporting that comes with it, proactive reminders, built-in notifications, automating the process completely so that you don't have to worry if people are following their training. You can make sure in the platform that they're doing what they need to do. And so this is just an example of some things that can get set up. But this is definitely super helpful on the employee level for sure, especially with high turnover or just, again, that inconsistency with training or making sure that people are following what they need to.
So our knowledge base is another feature that we have, and it's essentially going to be like your Google Docs or your intranet, if you guys are familiar with those terms. So a few things that are really cool that I think about it is, one, we have a really dynamic search tool. So anything that you type into the search bar, it'll pull up not only if it's in the title of the actual knowledge base chapter, but also if it's in the body as well. So that could be really helpful if you're looking for a serial number or a SKU number or something like that. Instead of scrolling through 500 different documents, you're going to be able to find that in 5 seconds. These are also really highly customizable. It's kind of like a Microsoft Word in that sense as well. So we can embed videos, photos directly in the knowledge base chapter. And so it makes it really easy to update content and update trainings for not only the franchisees, but the employees on the ground floor as well.
Yeah, and when I work with our customers during onboarding, knowledge base is the very first thing we do. That's the bread and butter of your operations. This is your repository. You need resources that people can access quickly. So we have an app, but we also have the website. A lot of our franchisors discuss how helpful the knowledge base has been in reducing the amount of questions that they get from their franchisees and the amount of questions that their franchisees are getting from their staff. So again, if you need to update an SOP, if you have an LTO, you can roll that out very quickly. You just create that document or update that document, publish it out to everybody, notifies everybody, they can quickly review it, and you understand that everyone's on the same page. Onboarding. Onboarding, we have two different ways for onboarding. There's onboarding your franchisees, and then there's onboarding the actual staff. So we do have a training platform that is automated based on job roles. So you can create trainings by pulling that information directly from your knowledge base, so you don't have to duplicate efforts in the content that you use in your training. And then you can set it up based on the job roles at your location, in your business. So anytime a user gets added to the platform, they're automatically enrolled into the training that they need. Think about cross-training, think about promoting. They can easily update their job titles in the system. So again, this is hands-off for you. Your franchisees are managing their locations completely and updating their teams and their permissions in the platform so everyone has access to the resources that they need. And one thing I forgot to mention, in the knowledge base and with training across the entire platform, you can configure permissions. So information that needs to be private, like FDDs, FAs, you can configure visibility so it's only available to the corporate team, to you, and anybody else, to the franchisees. And then you can also create documentation that is very specific to different territories, only they can access, different job roles. So again, very customizable.
So with forms and checklists, we're essentially using this section of our product to be information capture, no matter what that looks like. That could be a back of house checklist at a restaurant. That could be an onboarding form for a new hire, and everything in between. And so there's a lot of ways that our forms and checklist section can capture information. That could be multiple choice. It could be like the checklist that you see up here. It could be a short answer. You could upload a document. You can upload a photo, a video. So like video verification. Just show me the back of house is clean. Don't tell me it's clean and say, check yes. Just send me a video of a clean back of house. So there's a lot of ways for us to be able to do that. And it really makes things easier for anyone that's supervising these tasks on a daily basis, because it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. Are these things actually getting done?
Yeah, the forms are very plug and play. So I have customers that are doing evaluations, manager evaluations. They have franchise expansion request forms in there. They have auditing in there. So you can really set it up however makes the most sense. And again, the franchisees can come in and they can create checklists for their own team as well. When we work together, we set up all the resources up front, but this is supposed to be a dynamic tool that you are then providing them the resources to go off and use it as they need to. Chat. So don't really need to explain chat as much because it's pretty straightforward. But we do want to provide you that golden thread of communication across your network. So we have 3 built-in channels when you join the announcements channel. That's for every user in the entire network. That's meant for those large updates. Again, we're rolling out an LTO. We're updating this. Please check out the new manual. Congratulations, this new location just opened. Then we also have a location owners channel. So all owners, this is for you and all your franchisees to connect together. So again, thinking about expanding that community, allowing them access to each other so that they can share what's working, if they're running into anything. And then we also have the inner circle channel. That's you guys, that's your corporate team for you guys to connect. You also have the ability to create other channels. It works pretty similarly to like Slack or Teams or any of those other chat channels that you're used to using. And then the knowledge base also links to chat as well. So if you're looking for documents, someone's asking you for help, you can quickly send through resources through the chat channel. And again, just make sure all the updates are coming in under one roof. So you're not, again, having to use multiple different tools. Everything's interconnected. All right, so we want to talk about a couple of our customers. Obviously, everyone's very aware of who I Fluid Art. We started working with them June of last year. And when they came to us, these were the challenges that they had. So they were using multiple different tools. They were pretty outdated. It was very confusing for everyone to follow. They needed to have better engagement and communication across their network. Again, they are expanding so fast. So how do we keep everyone on the same page? How are we sharing announcements? And then how do they accelerate those new location openings? So right now, when we first onboarded them, these were the main things that we wanted to focus on. So the operational checklist that Tyler was discussing, how do we make sure that these classes are being ran the exact same at every single location? Training. So again, if there's turnover, how do we make sure someone can come in, those new hires, they get trained quickly, they get cross-trained, and we're making sure that if we're rolling out new classes, that everyone can do this with confidence. And again, they don't have to be going into those stores helping the franchisees train. We're giving them the resources, and they can do this interactive. Platform integration. This is pretty popular with a lot of our customers. So they're using multiple different tools for chat or for their knowledge base, for their checklists, for anything. And it's very confusing for a franchisee and their team to have to log into multiple different tools and remember where everything is. And as the franchisor, it's complicated for you guys to make sure you have one source of truth. You update it in one piece, now you got to update it on another platform and another. So we wanted to replace as many tools as possible for them and have it under one roof. Right now, their active user rate is 93%, very, very high. Everyone's in there, the corporate team, their franchisees, and their staff are using Delightree on a day-to-day basis. Resting Rainbow is another one of our customers. They actually started May of last year with us, and similar issues that they were running into. So again, how do we help with location openings? How do we streamline training? And then how do we have an easily accessible knowledge base? So again, that's exactly what we worked on with them. Very close in the active user rate as well, very high. We focused on their knowledge base, pulling all the information that they need to make available not only to new franchisees that are signing, but to their staff as well. Similar to training, they had a lot of information just living in Google Drive. So how do we make this interactive? How are we able to track this training in a way that doesn't require a lot of time investment from them? And then lastly, Location Launcher, which I will talk about in a moment. But Location Launcher is a specific tool that we created. Think of it as like a project management tool specifically for opening new stores or onboarding your new franchisees. So I think earlier we were talking about that checklist that your franchisees need to go through as they're getting ready to open their doors, open their business. So how do we streamline that? How do we give them all the resources that they need? So again, for you guys, reduce those questions, reduce the confusion, and you have the confidence to say, we're going to be able to get you up and running in 6 to 7 months, and here's the tool we're going to use to do that. We're going to skip this for a second because I am very excited to talk to you guys about some of our newer features. So before I even go into the newer features, I just want to mention our product team is amazing. I'm in customer success, so it's very important for that relationship to be strong. And it puts me in a very good place with my customers to be able to actually take their feedback, bring it to the product team, and tell them, hey, in 3 months, we're going to have this new tool that you guys said that you really needed. So we move very, very quickly. We're the new kids on the block. We want to stay competitive. So here's some of the things that we're bringing in the next couple of quarters. So we were using forms as a way to do audits. We're now introducing a very specific auditing tool. So some of the things that we'll have: pre-built templates, custom scoring, auditor-only notes, so being able to do follow-ups, flagging locations, being able to tell them, okay, here's the feedback based on what we saw, and then surprise audits as well. So most of the customers that we spoke to, we basically interviewed them. What is your auditing process like now? What are your pain points? And we did our best to solve them with some of these new features that we'll be offering. This is actually coming in the next couple of weeks. So this is our Location Launcher, which I already mentioned. Again, we're not here to replace project management tools like Asana or Monday, but we do want to bring some of those features that people really love from those tools, specifically for your new store openings. So what does that look like? Being able to highly customize your template of what that checklist looks like, dynamic due dates, being able to create ad hoc tasks, being able to have multiple boards. We have a lot of customers where their onboarding process looks different for different territories, or they have different types of units, so it's not going to be a one-size-fits-all. So how do we support that? My tasks, help queries, these are ways for your franchisees to reach out to you when they're struggling throughout that process, and you can follow up. Just a lot of really cool project-specific customizations that we didn't have before, that we listened to a lot of our customers based on feedback. This is things that are really important to them, and we'll be able to add to the tool in the next couple months. Training, again, I won't go down the entire list, but this is just a way of being able to create more of that automated training curriculum. How do you hire somebody and they know exactly what paths they need to go through, the reporting that comes with it, creating pass-fail rates, making it as hands-off as possible, because again, these locations that are opening quickly, or if you can't be there in store all the time, helping the franchisee through this, you want to give them as many resources as possible, and you want to be able to see the reporting on your end and be able to talk to them about how they can improve that in store. I think this is the last one we have. This is called our Nexus dashboard. This is specific for you guys. This is a bird's eye view of how you can manage your locations and understand what's going on without having to get on a call. So right now we do have a similar dashboard. What we're adding to this is things like, how do you know when it's time for a renewal, and you can reach out to them and have that automated reminder. Revenue insights, of course, that's important to everybody. More robust reporting around tasks and training, and then custom scoring. So I think my locations at a glance, it's kind of hard to see down there, but you'll be able to determine what are your locations doing in terms of how do they look from a health score. So what do you actually want to see? Who's doing the best at training completion? Who's doing the best at task completion? Who's making the most money? So it's going to be very customizable. We'll be able to include more tabs on documents like those FDDs, those FAs. Again, we're just trying to consolidate as many tools as possible and be able to give you a view where you can look at that without having to jump into multiple platforms. So we're talking about lots of integrations coming soon as well. Okay, there's one more. The product team's working really hard. We were talking about AI earlier, AI-powered chatbot. So this is gonna work hand in hand with our knowledge base. So again, we do have a search function that's really great, and you just can type in a keyword and find the information you need. But how do we get even more specific? So if somebody had questions about a certain process, again, I keep going back to the LTOs because that's very popular right now with the changing of the seasons with a lot of my customers. But how can we ask this AI chatbot questions and get tailored responses? So we have a pickleball customer. So maybe it's, how do I do this certain training for this program that we have rolling out? They have like a Halloween program that they have, and it's going to spit out the answers to them in real time and basically walk them through whatever they're trying to do without them having to search through the knowledge base, clicking through documents, scrolling through information. So again, ChatGPT works about the same, but this is going to be specific to all your documentation that you've loaded into the platform. All right. I don't know where we're at because I was talking very fast. But questions? Sure.
Question. So we started with Trainio. Is that similar to what you guys do? How do you guys compare to them? Or what differentiates you guys?
Yeah, Trainual is mainly an LMS platform. And it's capable of a few other things as well, but it's not as all-encompassing as Delightree. It's a lot more focused in the training and the document repository side.
Oh, sorry. Did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, so I guess isn't that the core though, or is there like what other things that you guys provide the trade like they don't?
Yeah.
What are some of the highlights? Like if you were to give me like 2 or 3 maybe.
Location launcher, so launching new locations, the task management, the forms and checklists. So I've had customers come over to us from Trainual. So really all we're taking is the training content. It really doesn't capture the rest of it, which is like the daily operational tasks that need to be done.
It takes a lot of work to set it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's like, so is it exportable? I mean, like the previous customers you've had, was it pretty easily like transferable?
Yeah.
Or is that like really painful?
Yeah, no, it was pretty easy, and we take over all the heavy lifting during the onboarding process. So what that looks like is you give us access to your existing platforms, your Google Drive, and we migrate all the content over, and then we have follow-up strategic sessions on how you want to tailor it to look.
Yeah, the only other thing I'd say about Trainual, not to harp on this, but we're just a lot more customizable in our knowledge base. Trainual is a little bit more clunky. It's not as easy to find things. And the reason I know this is because we're onboarding a company called ServiceRx next week, I think, and they're actually moving to us from Trainual, and these are some of their biggest complaints about that platform.
Thank you guys.
Not to mudsling, but.
And then what's your pricing structure like? Per user, is that how you charge?
So we charge per location, actually. So that's unlimited users, unlimited data. It's all based on per location. And in a lot of instances, our franchisors are passing that tech fee along to the franchisee in most cases.
Is it something that you need to do before you franchise, or are you building it as you're kind of doing all of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So like I mentioned, we do work with emerging franchisors who are just starting, some who are in the process of finishing their FDD. And so it depends on how much information you have. We don't necessarily build out your manuals for you, but we're taking the information you have and we're structuring it in a way that makes the most sense to share out to your network. So if you have somebody who is already in the process of building these things, instead of using other tools, you can be building it directly in Delightree and getting it ready for that, first or second franchisee that's going to be coming down the pipeline. So again, we do have some customers who want to get started, so that way they have this to talk about in those conversations and say, yeah, we're going to be able to provide you all these tools and we're going to make it really easy for you to get up and running.
Yeah, I would recommend you get started before you start trying to sell franchises. You'll be much more aware of it and more skilled at it. But yeah, it is a service you're able to talk about, you're able to provide for the franchisees to help them in the field as well.
And just speaking from experience, like as we're doing this, we're understanding our process and the systems better too. So it helps us kind of just get a better understanding of how things should go.
Yeah.
Real quick, you mentioned that this can help to consolidate systems, and I'm trying to envision how that would work in my case, and I can follow up after if that makes more sense. But for example, I have an HCM system that does human capital management, payroll, and a separate scheduling software, and then some Google Drive stuff too. I'm having a hard time envisioning how this incorporates those, except for the Google Drive. You made that clear that this is more task management.
Who invited this guy? So you actually made some very good points. This isn't going to actually replace every single technology out there, especially in your particular situation. So we don't have scheduling. There's not a CRM. So pre-sale, before the franchisee signs their agreement, we're not involved in that either. So there are some things that would not be fully encapsulated by Delightree. I think where we come in is right after they're in the onboarding process. So the franchisee signs their agreement, they can go into Delightree right away. They have access to all the content they need, all the training they need. They're in our project management system for opening that location. And then we combine the communication, the learning management for onboarding new employees, and just kind of the overall oversight of managing all the locations as you scale.
Operational accountability is sort of what I'm gathering.
Right, exactly. And increasing the usage rate. I mean, making sure people are actually doing their training, making sure people are engaged with their training and not scrolling through.
You actually have like accountability, right? So you can see who went through and saw, the training videos or the program, whatever, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it can help you scale much, much quicker if it's all set up right.
Absolutely.
And does it incorporate like Trello, like the quizzes that you can use to know if they've taken the content?
Yes, yeah. We have quizzes, and then we're introducing more dynamic like scoring where you can weight questions, have that pass fail. So yeah, and that's coming very soon. We're not trying to, again, replace strictly LMSs, but as many of those tools and features that people enjoy from that, we want to build in the platform so they don't have to, again, have multiple platforms that they're paying for and asking the franchisee to access.
Yeah, and to your point, Philip, like she mentioned, our tech team is moving really quickly. Those are features that could be out in like a year,
Yeah.
So eventually we want to get there where it's like Delightree is the only thing you need in the entire space.
And they've added a lot of features just in a short period of time.
Yeah, it's going to look
But you guys
completely
been around
different
how
in a
long?
year, a couple years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, question. So, most of our employees don't use tech while on the job.
Yeah.
So, how do you incorporate that? I mean, I'm assuming this is all digital.
Yeah.
Do they install it on their own device and do that, or would we supply stuff, or how does that work normally?
Yeah, so they can access it on any web browser and they can download the app, which is free. And part of the onboarding process is us training the franchisees and training the locations. So we get on Zoom calls, there's built-in training on the platform itself that people can walk through and access resources and articles on how to use different tools. But then we also do one-on-one training. And that is something that even after you go through the onboarding and you're launched, I still continue to have follow-up Zoom sessions with some of our customers. They have a new group of franchisees starting. I'm going to get on a call and we're all going to do a training together to make sure that everyone feels comfortable.
And then a follow-up question. You talked about the financial analytics and stuff that you can see on this. Do you guys have integrations, or how do you get that information?
Yeah, that we don't have it yet, but that is what's coming. We are working on a Stripe integration that I think is rolling out this week. And then there's a couple other ones. I can't speak to them all yet, but we do have more coming in terms of integration. Yeah, it's a secret.
Basically, if they have open APIs, we're down. So.
Yeah.
Parameters on the financials? You want everyone seeing your numbers.
Yeah.
What numbers are you showing up there?
Yeah, so right now, to my knowledge, it's going to be revenue per location. I don't have the specifics, to be honest, on that, just because they're still finalizing it, but, oh, no. So something to note.
Sorry, I was gonna talk about permission levels.
Yes,
So
go ahead.
there's 4 different permission levels in Delightree. We actually didn't touch on this, but what we've been talking about at a high level is the super admin, which is gonna have access to everything and vision on everything. If there's an employee or even a franchisee, they're gonna have a different level of access to where they're not gonna be able to see those high level things. Mm-hmm. Right. No, and the same goes for chat too. There's one of the new hires in the Chicago location is not going to be messaging the CEO at the corporate level on the chat.
No.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all very much.
Thank you guys. Thank you.